Welcome back, everybody. I know everybody's been waiting. It's about that time. I released somebody that I had in the chamber for like 6 months waiting to launch. I appreciate everybody that's been part of the podcast. And we back. We back. So I got someone special today. This is somebody that's multi-talented and it's been a long time coming, but I'm happy you're here, Mr. Figz.
It's been a long time coming. We a couple of months now. I've known you for a few years now, but it's been a couple of months coming. So glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Figz, for somebody that's seeing you for the first time, where does your name come from?
It's just an abbreviation of my last name, Figueroa. So they call me Figz. It's always been. It's either my family calls me Eddie or my friends call me Figz. So that's what I stuck with. My radio personality has always been either Figz, Mr. Figz, Figue. Always didn't relate it to my last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where were you born?
I was born in New York, but raised in Puerto Rico. So they shipped me off to Puerto Rico when I was 3. And I've been there, I traveled back and forth, but mostly Puerto Rico.
And what part of Puerto Rico?
Bayamón, Trujillo Alto, Carolina. I bounced around family members a lot.
So, what did you get into first in the entertainment?
Entertainment, I was music. It was music back in Puerto Rico when el reggaeton estaba on the ground. I was involved doing shows and putting artists together, and started doing that. And then I moved here in 97, 98. And it took me a while to catch on, find, the hustle with the music and the artistry. And then in the mid 2000s, I started up again, and I had a couple of artists. We went on tour with, I entered the shows in Few. We went on the show and like a lot of shows on the East Coast all the way to Canada. But it started with the underground in Puerto Rico, and then it evolved and got to where I'm at right now. Did that a few years, and then I stopped, went into radio, and from 2006 all the way to 2013, 14, I was on the radio.
Oh, okay. What radio?
Bomba Radio and La Mega. I've done some things with La Mega here in Connecticut, but also in the one in New York.
You got into music first.
Mm-hmm.
What made you get into another field?
At the time, remember when the reggaeton was peaking the first time, where the whole Daddy Yankee, Chosen Few, all that, that it was peaking. Everybody's getting signed by big record labels. Bad Boy, Jay-Z signed Hector el Father. All that. And there was a lot of politics involved that I didn't really enjoy. And I didn't want to get involved in. So I just decided to stop and just let the artist go and then just do my own thing. I just found myself on the radio. I actually had the first radio show in New England before the bigger radio station came out. The success of the show spawned on the radio station, and then hosting shows, doing, I still do tours with some of the artists, independently. I work with them, but I keep it in the background. I like to be in the background. I don't like to be up front. Unless I'm on the radio, then it's different. But
you got into music. You kind of didn't like the behind the scenes of the music.
Yeah.
And you transition into wanting to do something else, and IDMB comes about. Tell me a little bit of that.
Well, I started, since I specialize in radio and studios and just DJing, I started building desks. It's custom for the radio station, so I started doing that for a while. And because of that, I started actually drawing on wood and then just making specifically custom stuff. I don't know if you can see one in the back. It's you probably can't see it there, but there's like a Bob Marley back. So I started carving into wood, and I don't know, it just evolved into like an artistry now. So, and then TikTok came along, so that blew me up a little bit further. Okay. My son put me onto TikTok. He's like, Dad, you should get on TikTok and promote your stuff and just put your stuff in the background and just do videos. It's smart. Like his product placement. My then, he was 9 years old when he told me. And he just told me, just put your stuff in the background and people start to find it. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
So, yeah. So props to Jaden. Jaden, he's the one who put me onto TikTok. I believe that if you have a gift or a talent, gifts are meant to be gifts. So I started linking up with people on TikTok that I liked what they were saying and talking about, they're positive. So I started appreciating it by sending them, I appreciate you. Here's a gift. And then one of them received it was a Puerto Rican flag. And then he had a huge following. He put me up, and then my TikTok blew up from like, I think it was like 200 followers to like 10,000 in overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, overnight. And then I got being modeled ever since. And then me doing my own videos, I've gone viral a few times. But that's what started it off. Luisito 787.
Okay. I like that. That's
Yeah.
I definitely like the creativity too. Like
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
your customization. Like, is it well, what I wanted to ask you is, it do they give you the idea and then you kind of go off of what they tell you, or do you give them like some basics? Like, these are the types, pick one, and then I kind of add your logo on it or something.
In the beginning, they would give me the ideas. Like, can you make this? Like, sure. But then it started evolving. This is the part I love about this the most. It's like when they want a piece, I jump on the phone call and start talking to them, their story and whatnot.
Yeah.
So as they're telling me their story, I'm taking notes. So when I make the piece, they're expecting something, but then they'll get some extra stuff that they didn't expect based on their story. So that's what gives it the custom, one of a kind thing for item for the customer, and that's the wow factor. That's the part I like the most, building with people.
You're providing something that is customized, just for them. So it just
Mm-hmm.
creates this sense of ownership, this sense of branding, I guess.
Yeah.
And for anybody that would obviously wanna check his workout, I'm gonna have his links in the description down below, so make sure you check that out too. But being part of the music scene, who was buzzing in your city at the time that you were doing um your radio?
Shorty C was buzzing, Carito Rossi was buzzing in this area,
Shout out
but
to
they were doing, yeah. So I was working with Shorty C and doing some things with Carito Rossi. On the English side, there was a group called Flowers and Cane. It's like a reggae ska hip hop band. It was pretty cool. So they were doing their thing. So I was working with those bands. There were other people that were buzzing up, but those are the ones that I can say those were buzzing because I was involved in what they were doing. So I was seeing the shows, and
Yeah.
But I'm sure there was other ones. But for what I remember, it would be Caito Rossi, Chorici, Flowers and Cane. There was a Camacho. In Rhode Island, there was Focus. At that time, those are the ones that were buggy.
I've always admired the fact that you're always doing something.
I just trying to find a way how to interconnect everything that I do and have them work together in a way. I could do custom desks, so I got to meet a lot of people who did radio or did have studios. So that would help me with production when it comes to either radio or my personal stuff. So it's just a way of interconnecting the network of everything I do. I can tell you right now, because of the woodwork, I haven't paid for studio time, and I can record now here, but I have not paid for studio time, and I don't know how long, because it's been a way of, I do for you, you do for me, and a bartering,
Yeah.
So it's a way of bartering. You show me love, I show you love, and vice versa. I've been blessed to be able to connect with good people like that understand that aspect.
Let's say somebody wants to get a table from you, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, okay, podcast, maybe like a nice little station, maybe with the words in front of it, name of the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
something they could probably put their arms over.
It all depends. The rates are going to depend on what you want, because if you tell me you want a podcast table, it's like, the first thing I'm going to ask you is like, where's your equipment? How do you want? What use your layout? Do you put drinks on it? Do you want cup holders? There's things that we add on. It's custom for you. I'll ask you what you want, what makes you feel comfortable. What's the height you want it? Like, some people like to sit down low, some people sit down high. A lot of things. Where's your equipment go? You want it on the bottom? All these specific things to you. So that's how the prices would change. The prices change depending on what we add on.
Materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logos, lights, it all depends.
And you would ship it, or how would that work?
A lot of times I would either ship it or they could just pick it up. When it comes to tables, I've shipped as far as big tables to Florida. Like, I had to ship one down. I had to get a pod to come down here and pick it up and then ship it out.
Oh, I see.
But for the most part, it's hard to ship out tables. Not every that's probably more expensive than the actual table. So most of my tables are locally. You know,
Okay. And somebody wants to pick some one up. Where's your headquarters or your
it's in Connecticut. It's in Connecticut. A little cool story about the woodwork. I have this program called, maybe, you know, in case your followers or people who watch you know, I have this program called Little Shield Agents, and it evolved from the actual woodworking. What I do is I make these, you know, I find these children who are sick. They're battling either cancer. They're just sick or been bullied, or they're just going through some issue, but they stay positive. I make them a shield with their favorite character in the front, and I make them a little tag, you know, a little ID, just so they feel a part of a group. And just as a reminder, like, even as a child, you can inspire us as adults. You know, you can teach us how to be still. You know, so it's called Little Shield Agents. And if any of your followers or your listeners know of somebody who deserves this, just hit me up, find me on Instagram or on TikTok, and we'll get it done. Now I have like almost 12 kids that have gotten their shield, and it's really cool because the network of people support these children. You know, and it's really fun to watch.
That's
So
amazing. So, Figs, if somebody wants to get in contact with you,
you can find me at either idnbcustoms.com, or you can find me on TikTok as Figz Official, Figz. Actually, no, I actually changed it because I had to open a shop, so I had to make. Sorry, it's not Figz
sorry.
Official. It's Figz Got Wood. Please don't. That's the only name I could come up with. But Figz Got Wood. You can find me on TikTok or on Instagram. You can find me as Figz Official /IDNB. One quick thing. Can I give
Go ahead.
I have a project called Docket Stories. This project it's a song that I'm doing. I've wrote 3 songs, and I'm making it as a part 1, part 2, part 3. It's called Docket Stories, and it talks about the exploitation of children, and, you know, immigration, and in the schools, foster care, in the entertainment, you know, the things that I've seen, you know, and things that I've heard about, you know. So this is another reason why I left entertainment. Okay. So this project speaks a lot about that, you know, and just people check it out. It's called Docket Stories Part 1. You'll find it on all the platforms or on YouTube. It's another labor of love that I created, and I really want people to take a look at.
Figs, shout outs to you. Shout
Thank you
outs
so
to
much.
you.
Thanks for having me. I go live on TikTok all the time. If you want to come on board and promote what you're doing, you're welcome. So
Figs, thank you for your time, and I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.